I actually quit band at the end of 5th grade. A lot of people don't know that. It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just, yeah, I did that. I'm going to do something else. And I quit at the end of 7th grade. At the end of 8th grade, one of the band directors came up to me and he was like, like, Link, why are you quitting? And I'm like, I wear the goofy hats and all that stuff. And he was like, I'd like you to come to our first summer practice. And I thought it was amazing. And within 25 minutes, I was like, I love this.
There's some people that think it's very embarrassing, but there's some games the student section's really into our halftime shows. So I think it's kind of 50-50. There's certain people and I think that it's all one type of person. It's kind of like a stereotype at that point. You have the sports and stuff that you think are fun, and this is just the activity that we think is fun because it's something that we're good at. So it's I'm not good at sports, so I wouldn't be excited about it, but to me that's what my extracurricular is.
It's really just a nice group to be around. You get to make a lot of friends before school. It's you get to meet a lot of people, and I think a lot of people don't see it as that. They see it as more off-putting and a little bit weird.
I came from a family that had, just a lot of financial issues. And so I was the first person in my family ever to go to college. But about halfway through my sophomore year, I realized that as all my local scholarships had expired and I was already taking out a lot of student loans, I was not going to be able to come back to college for my junior year. I don't necessarily believe in fate or anything, but literally at that time, I ran into someone who was in the Ohio Army National Guard band. And they were like, we have openings, you should audition. And I was like, Army, it wasn't really part of my plan, but it became so much more to me than that. The core Army values and whatnot, I was like, yeah, this is kind of what I believe. As much as me joining the Army came out of a personal and financial hardship, I'm really, really glad that I had those experiences.
I feel like there's a stick on the field. I don't think I've ever seen him run that fast.
I rely so much on our upperclassmen. That's one of the things I think is so unique about marching band, is there's such a leadership opportunity for students to mentor other students. And I really enjoy helping students find themselves as followers initially, and then watching them turn into leaders as they get to know them.
I've had to teach groups of people who have a hard time learning how to play music. And that has been very difficult, but it has been very fulfilling to see everyone grow as a player, as a clarinetist, and as a person. Marching band has made me more mature. It has taught me how to take a leadership position and not be a baby about it. As a freshman, since I was the youngest, I would always just see myself as depending on other people, but then I'm I can't depend on other people anymore, so I feel like I can almost talk to anyone now.
I think that marching band's a commitment like any other club. I really expected to just get through it and then leave after my 2 years, but I found something I was good at. You need to be trustworthy. People around you need to be able to trust you to do your work and do it right. Don't do it just to finish it so that, you can walk away feeling proud. The experience of marching to the stadium and standing on that field, you're really not prepared for it. When you get there, it seems so big. But when you're doing the show, you go through it so naturally, and I don't think I was prepared for that.
It feels really cool, I'm not gonna lie. It feels like you've worked up so hard and then there's all these lights on you and everyone's looking at you, and I don't know how to describe it. I love being around my friends, and we have a little group and we're very tight, and I just like coming here and getting to do this.
How many points are we gonna get today? 100!
It's just a really good experience to have.
I'm not that into football, but it's gotten me more into football, I guess. People are just very loud. You don't feel different. You feel kind of all part of one thing. It's just fun, and even now that it's over for the season, I don't have a lot of stuff to do on Friday.
You don't even know. I can make your hands clap.
Oh, I love it. I remember being terrified to go up in the stands because I was like, this is so weird. I'm with a whole bunch of high schoolers. But then I also remember being super excited to be out and do halftime. You have to be so dedicated. You can't just join it and just hope it goes well. You actually have to try. You have to try for checkoffs and for learning all the steps and all that. So you just need to be dedicated.
Whenever there is no student section, it's nice that the football team still has someone cheering for them. The marching band is, just as important as the cheerleaders. We're there to be their student section and to support them, not just on their good nights. We're there to support them in the rain.
Shout out L'Oreal, Last Paradise Hotter.
We're there to support them through the cold and the snow. No one else drives that way. And when no one else is there to support the football team.
I don't think that people necessarily realize how much work the students are putting in. Because if you've not done it, you can look out at the marching band and be like, oh, well, these kids know how to play instruments and I know how to walk. I can do it. It's very, very difficult. It's very in fashion right now in the world to bash young people. And so a lot of people who I know and respect will do these kids these days. And don't get me wrong, I definitely have days where I'm like, oh, these kids. But I think that students today are remarkable in many ways. I meet students when they're 11. You know, I get to watch them get their permits and get their licenses. Eventually I get to watch them walk across the stage. And every year, parents and other people will say, how on earth is the band gonna get by without, you know, they'll name this excellent player, this excellent player. Well, if you're running a successful program, you should graduate your best people every year because everyone should get better all the time. And it creates an opening for somebody who is ready to take that next step and lead. I'm a much different teacher now than I was 10 years ago. I hope 10 years from now I'll be a much different teacher than I am now. So I'm always trying to learn and be better the next year than I was the year before. Sometimes I succeed with that, sometimes I fail. But you know, that's something I try to make sure my students know. And if we all sort of have that mentality of personal growth, then hopefully we can eventually get to where we want to be.
You never know. He's, what's it called? He's unpredictable. You never know what he's going to do next.
All we can really do is just help students be the version of themselves that they hope to be. I think that's sometimes where we're falling short in the idea we want to have grace when people are, you know, messing up or when people aren't fulfilling their potential. But I've learned so much more from my failures than I have from my successes. So the idea of holding people accountable when they fail is really important.
I think I regret like certain times just like not enjoying it more. Like there were just like certain games where it's like, oh, we're coming home late. I could be having fun with like everyone else. And I was just like, oh, I just want to go home like and complaining. And I think that really hit once our last game happened so quickly. Like, oh, I thought we were gonna have like more time. And then it's over just like that.
I regret complaining so much. I would complain like every rehearsal over the littlest things, and I regret doing that because I know I'm gonna miss it.
After 4 years, you've all been through the same thing. You have the effect of remembering almost every moment together. And now that it's over, you're not gonna see these people. But when you do, you're gonna be able to remember these specific moments, the one game that you talk to each other. You're going to have these memories and they're gonna stick with you. The thing that's saddest to me is that I'm not going to be able to make new memories with these people, but I'm so grateful that there are these memories that we can remember together.